welcome back to Movie Review Mom. I'm so glad to see you. Well, okay, I wish I could see you. Let me tell you about the movie I'm reviewing today, which is called Half Brothers. It is in theaters today. The movie is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 32 minutes, and the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is a C plus, and I will explain why in just a second. First of all, every Friday I show up on a YouTube talk show, which is super fun. It's called The Morning Brew with Sunny Von Cleveland. And I always share movies that are coming out as the, Friday flick segment of his show. And so I showed him the trailer and we talked about it. He was roaring with laughter, thought it was hilarious. So I want to give you a little heads up on what to expect. First of all, in a quick nutshell, the movie is directed by Luke Greenfield. It's a kind of a comedic romance movie about a road trip with two guys, one in America and the other in Mexico, who didn't know that each other existed. And it turns out they're half brothers. I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you know what the story is all about. Now, personally, I have a half brother, but I definitely know he exists. The movie actually does a really good job, I think, of illustrating the nuances of that half brother relationship in a pretty effective way, mixed with some humor and lots of drama. So thank you to Focus Features, first of all, for inviting me to the virtual screener last night so I could watch this movie and give you the scoop about it today. So I wouldn't necessarily race out to theaters to see it, but it's entertaining enough that if you do, you'll have a good time. But you also might want to check it out once it goes to streaming, which should be pretty soon after its theatrical release, just because a lot of studios are doing it that way because of COVID. Now, some important themes. Now, before I give you the themes, let me give you the heads up for parents. First of all, a father lets his son drink a beer. There are many subtitles in Spanish. There's even some profanity in Spanish, some name calling, and some guys rustling around, which actually I thought was hilarious because my sons, I have four of them, were always wrestling around on the ground. So I loved the scene where these two guys did that. Anyway, the themes of the movie are immigration policies that tear families apart. There's kind of some slams on America and our difficult relationship with Mexico. And there's poking fun at both cultures and both countries, but America kind of gets the hit even more. So heads up on that. Their other themes are family, parenting, brotherhood, siblings, and that relationship, as I mentioned, entitled Americans, infidelity, don't give up on people. That's a big theme. Empathy, regrets, compassion, connection. There's nothing wrong with being different, choices, and consequences. And then here's a kind of the big theme of the movie is spoken by Evaristo. He's the father in the movie. And he says, always try to see things from a different perspective. And I think that the movie did that really well too. The American perspective versus the Mexican perspective. And of course, just everything in general, looking at it through other people's eyes. Now, there were plenty of things that I liked about the movie. First of all, the half brothers are played by Luis Gerardo Mendez, and he's this guapo, this handsome Latino man, and he's wealthy and sophisticated. And then there's the contrasting American played by Connor Del Rio, which I think it's interesting that he has a Latino name. And he's kind of a Zach Galifianakis type of a character, goofball, kind of a screw up and free thinking, free acting type of a guy who really doesn't pay attention to the consequences of his choices. But these two guys really do look like they could be half brothers. And they also look like they had a blast making the movie. They give it their all, and I really appreciate that. The cast also includes Jose Zuniga, who plays the father, and many other unfamiliar actors, at least unfamiliar to American audiences, I think. But I thought everybody did a good job. Now, the goat is completely unnecessary, but very hilarious and actually adds a lot of humor to the movie. I liked the mystery of following clues that the father gives to his sons, and that's what kind of progresses the movie along. The pacing is good because you've got a new clue and they've got to go figure it out. And so I thought that that worked really well. There were some things that I didn't like. And first of all, as a comedy, it's not as funny as I had hoped for, or as the movie poster suggests, and even the trailer suggests. Actually, there's more drama than humor. But as a drama, I never really shed a tear or got the feels in a significant way. So it kind of fails a little bit on both counts, both as a true comedy or as a true drama. But again, maybe I'm being harsh, it's still entertaining enough. The plot felt a little forced, and we've definitely seen this kind of movie before. So the ending is very predictable. The backstory feels like a telenovela, which probably is appropriate since a lot of it takes place in Mexico. There are a few funny running gags that run throughout the film that are supposed to be super hilarious, but they kind of fall flat a few times. There are a lot of multicultural stereotypes. And again, that's poking fun at both cultures. Some people might be offended, though. And then the biggest thing is that it's really hard to sympathize with the father, or even like him after he's basically abandoned both of his sons and traumatized both of their childhoods. And so at the end of his life, he's trying to basically beg forgiveness and trying to give them both the feels, to make up for his very poor choices. So that's sort of the buy-in, is that you've got to feel sympathy for him. And I was just kind of like, dude, you made your choices. Not that I don't believe in forgiveness. Of course I do. But anyway, it was just kind of a tough sell for me. Now, on my website, moviereviewmom.com, I always share the funny lines and inspiring lines that I hear while I'm watching the movie. I write them down. And so you can go over to my website to read all of those. But I'll share a couple of them with you right now. So first of all, this Mexican guy flies to America where his father is on his deathbed. And so he gets into an Uber or a Lyft or something like that. And there's this perky, overweight American, which is kind of cliched. And she says, "Oh, you're from Mexico. I just love Cancun. They have the best zip lines. I had so much fun there. If I lived in Mexico, I'd go zip lining every day. Do you zip line?" And he just kind of looks at her and goes, "No." And then she says, "Oh, well, then why do you live in Mexico?" So the movie paints a picture of these really dumb Americans. And there's this zip line gag that actually I did think was kind of funny. And then when another character learns that he came from Mexico, he says, "Oh, you're in America. You're safe now." So there are a lot of lines like that. Now, before we go, I want to give you some recommendations for some other movies. Of course, a lot of people are comparing this movie to the one called Step Brothers. And the story and plot are very different, but again, it takes a look at that relationship and pokes a lot of fun in a comedic way. But there is a better road trip, better buddy movie by far. And if you haven't seen it, you absolutely need to put it on your watch list. And this is a good time of year because it's around Thanksgiving, Christmas that this movie takes place. And it's called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with John Candy and Steve Martin. So good. It makes me laugh every time I watch it and cry. It's a great movie. All right. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me as we talk about movies. Okay, I'm the one doing all of the talking. People who watch my YouTube channel always ask how they can support me. And the first thing you could do is subscribe to my channel and like this video. Those two simple actions are actually super helpful. And if you really want to go big, then run over to Patreon and you can support me there. I've got lots of gifts that are offered on the various tiers that you can see when you go on that website. All right, have a fantastic weekend. If you see this movie today, I hope you enjoy it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.